Welcome back to Kris versus Everybody. I'm your host, Kris, and this is the podcast where I talk about anything unedited, uncensored, unapologetic, no filters, no fluff, just real talk. This episode is brought to you by the Crisscross Studios YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, hit that follow button to stay up to date with every new episode as it drops. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your support. Now let's get into this episode. We're talking about the government shutdown once again. 28 days, full month into the government shutdown, and the GOP has not come back to Washington. As of right now, October 28th, when I'm recording this episode, 48 states are warning millions of low-income Americans that they will not receive food stamps in November. The state of Virginia has already declared a state of emergency. And the state of Nebraska has not even released a statement to their people. Nebraska and their government, their state government, have not informed their people that they will not be receiving aid in November. So please, people of Nebraska, please vote against the people y'all voted for in 2022 and in 2024, because they ain't telling y'all ain't gonna have benefits next month if this shutdown continues into next month. Grocery and food costs continue to rise. Gas continues to be steady. However, it's increasing every weekend. Food away from home, aka restaurants, etc., went up 4%. Fuel costs have went up, as I said earlier. Transport remains a significant budget line for many families. Childcare remains a major rising expense for families, growing faster than many other costs and consuming a large share of income, especially for single parent households. Now let's go back to the facts. We are in a government shutdown because the Republican Party wants to take away health care and SNAP benefits. That's just the simplified version of why the government is shut down right now. Let's be very clear about those facts, those very simplified facts. The Democrats are insisting that part of any deal to restoring or protecting healthcare funding, including subsidies under the Affordable Care Act and reversing certain cuts to Medicaid, they don't want that to happen. They do not want stuff to be taken away from the American people. Democrats are saying we don't just pass a funding bill unless healthcare protections are included. Republicans are saying, let us fund the government now so it reopens and deal with the policy issues later. Well, the policy issues are millions of people not having health care, and the ones who do still have health care, their premiums will quadruple. Y'all want to fix something that y'all fucked up so y'all can look like the heroes? Yeah, it ain't happening this time. And that's what the Democrats are trying to stop. You're going to raise premiums and take people's health care away before the holiday season? That's crazy. The healthcare fight is especially consequential this time because millions of Americans stand to lose subsidies or coverages if certain provisions expire or are cut. These subsidies, you might ask? Head Start, SNAP, WIC, middle class tax breaks, child income tax breaks. The extension of these subsidies is a major point in contention in the funding negotiations, either the stopgap bills or the continuing resolutions. One side wants to include insurance and healthcare, and the other side wants to proceed without them. You know, when we hear the slogan, America is amazing, or when we hear the slogan, Make America Great Again, it sounds like a promise. It's a rallying cry, almost like a prayer for a better tomorrow. But here's the truth: Trump and the GOP aren't really looking out for making America great. They're about holding on to a version of America that only worked for a select few. Conservative America, because the word conservative once meant prudence, stability, and responsibility. But what we see now isn't conservatism, it's obstruction. It's saying no to progress, no matter what the cost. Cutting healthcare, cutting food assistance, cutting education. That's not protecting America's future. That's selling it short. Rural America, because it's easier to say your struggles are someone else's fault than to invest in real solutions like broadband expansion, infrastructure upgrades, and healthcare access in small towns. If the GOP really cared about rural America, they'd protect programs that keep food on the table and doctors in the clinic. They'd fight for farmers who are crushed by big corporations, not just tax cuts for the corporations themselves. White America. I talked about conservative America. I talked to rural America. Now I'm talking to white America, Democrat or Republican. Because fear has always been a political tool. Keeping white America afraid of demographic change distracts from the fact that wages are stagnant, healthcare is unaffordable, and the cost of living keeps climbing. Instead of lifting everyone up, they tell one group to blame the other. That's not greatness. That is the dictionary definition of division. Christian America. Since faith is powerful, and politicians know that. But Jesus preached feeding the hungry and healing the sick, yet the GOP is more focused on banning books and controlling women's bodies than making sure every child has enough food through programs like SNAP, which will be cut or gotten rid of if they open the government without dealing with that problem on the budget. If they really cared about Christian values, they'd see social safety nets as living out the gospel, not as a burden on the budget. If Republicans truly wanted to make America great again, they'd call for progress, not regression. They protect and expand SNAP because no child in this country should go hungry. They'd fund healthcare because every American deserves to see a doctor without going bankrupt. They'd invest in education and infrastructure, not just tax breaks for billionaires. Greatness isn't about going backwards. Greatness is about going forward together. Rural America, Christian America, white America, conservative America. They don't need empty slogans. They need leaders who will fight for their actual needs, who will choose compassion and progress over fear and division. So maybe the question isn't, when was America great? Maybe the real question is, when will America finally choose to be greater than it's ever been before? And that has been another edition of the Kris versus Everybody podcast. Go over to kriscrosscorner.com to get your Black Excellence t-shirts, your Detroit Strikes Back t-shirts, and stuff for the holiday season. Type in code BLACK, BLACK, for free shipping. And see y'all next time on Kris versus Everybody.